Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, guys, Disney's doubling down on DEI and wokeness. No, actually, there's this article from The Wrap, and I thought this is very interesting because they cherry-picked a small part of the discussion that the Disney animation chief, Jared Bush, had to say. And he said basically, like, yeah, we want to tell diverse stories, different people around the world have different, perspectives, yada, yada, yada. But wasn't the main focus of the conversation. They were basically talking about, kind of where Disney animation is right now. And the media ran with it and made it, diversity is crucial to the studio's success. I'm like, that was a very small part of the conversation. And it's like way down into the conversation. So we'll talk about this. Again, this is I believe, a white guy in Hollywood trying to say the right things to keep his job. But he also seemed like he was kind of like trying to dance through the minefield here, because I noticed that too with Tom Felton when, he was interviewed by the media.
He's just trying to answer the question and support where he came from but be fair. And then they were just like, you're just a supporter. That's not what he did.
Because I could totally see one of these media outlets laying a trap for somebody one of these days and being like, so what do you think about trans rights? And he's like, what the trans rights have to do with a cartoon about a talking dog or whatever? And it's like, you said it's not important enough to even discuss. And that would be the headline. So, I mean, what I'm saying? Like, what are you going to do? It's like, anytime you're talking to the media, they've got these talking points, and they're gonna get you. They're gonna try to get you. That's Tom Hardy.
Even if you don't say it, they're just gonna find a way to make it sound like
oh yeah, they're gonna try to And Tom Hardy had that too a couple of years ago. I remember they were trying to pin him down on his sexuality, and he was kind of like, "What the? Why does it matter? Why does it matter?" Right. But let's talk about this. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to news.clownfishtv.com. for more content. We've got some free content out there. We've got some paywalled content out there, and it doesn't change a thing here on YouTube. We're still going to post our videos like we always have. And there you go. News.clownfishtv.com. So let's come from The Wrap. Again, this is a very small part of the conversation because he's doing Zootopia 2 right now. Walt Disney Animation Chief Jared Bush says diversity is crucial to the studio's success. And they're talking about Zootopia. He wrote Moana. He co-wrote and directed Encanto, co-wrote Moana 2. And honestly, I'm wondering if they're looking at him like, why is this white guy doing all these?
Well, if they really want diversity, why have they just put someone who's diverse in his position? Should he just step aside and let somebody else have it?
Yeah, right. You're just supposed to step down. Okay, so he is, he's going to be the leader. He's stepping more fully into the leadership role at Walt Disney Animation. The studio is still shaking off a series of misfires before Moana 2. Did he have a lot to do with that? Because that was done in Canada, I thought. But, he probably oversaw it. They're basically talking about all their box office misfires. Strange World was a huge misfire. Iger tasked Bush with replacing Jennifer Lee. Oh, interesting. New leadership was needed. So Bob Iger tasked Bush with replacing Jennifer Lee, co-creator of Frozen. I thought she stepped down or stepped away so she could focus more time on Frozen 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Well, it sounds to me like she got shit canned.
Yeah, it does sound like she got shit canned. Usually when they're like, oh, I'm not going to be a boss anymore, but I'm still going to be working as a producer or something on this, that usually means they got demoted
and they try to be as polite about it as possible because they want the person to be able to find a job someplace else. Actually, if somebody screwed it up at your company, you want them to go work for your competition so they can screw that up too. Right? Just let them go work for DreamWorks because they were such an F up over here. They go work for DreamWorks, they'll F that up too, and then that's going to be good news for us, right? They said, he said basically he was okay, so led to the opening of the Vancouver studio. So there's a lot of weight on him, but they said, Zootopia 2 is coming. And here's the conversation they have with him. And again, the diversity thing is a very small part of it. He says, decision to take the top job at Disney Animation was a tricky one. I love writing and directing. For me, thinking about, that creative outlet is so important to me. Would I feel the same way in a new role? To be honest, I don't know yet. He said he was in the middle of working on Moana 2, which was refashioned from a Disney Plus series into a feature film. And then they kind of dumped him into Zootopia 2. And it's been really exciting to work with these teams. Again, we're just talking shop, right? We're, then they get down to it. Okay, so we scroll down. One of the things that's most important to Bush is encouraging stories from diverse filmmakers and younger filmmakers. Bush announced
but they're all doing his stories, and he's not.
I know, right? Bush announced on stage that next year's Disney animation film is an original from an exciting new filmmaker. Okay, now let's listen to how he words it, because he's not like, yes, I think we need to have more XYZ people doing it. He said it's really critical that life experiences find their way into the stories. I think it's really important to continue to do that no matter what it is, because our movies have to be global and reach a global audience.
But they reached a global audience before.
Yes, because they resonate with a lot of people. And if you shrink that down to, hey, this movie's for Portland, no offense to Portland, but you know what I'm saying? Like, this movie's for a very small subsection of activist-minded people, and it's got all that whatever. But he said, yeah, it's a lot of different types of people. So having different types of people lead those stories is crucial. He's not saying like, you know what, just, I really just, we need to have more, whatever. He's basically, I think he got trapped.
Yes and no, but I think he's saying they are going to try to push for more diversity and stuff, but they want people who have life experience to write it. So it's not like you're just writing stuff. But like, I don't think he knows what it's like to be a Polynesian woman.
No, that's kind of weird. I wonder if, I'm going to be honest, I wonder if this came up and this is why he's being asked this question, because they're like, hey, most of the movies you worked on are about like brown female characters, and you yourself are not allowed to because you're a white dude. How very dare you? But yeah, they corner him on the studio's recent disappointments. He said there's going to be sequels beyond Zootopia 2. There's Frozen 3 and Frozen 4. And Moana 2 left a cliffhanger for Moana 3, and Encanto's getting a sequel.
Basically, anything that was successful is getting a sequel.
But here's what's going to be kind of a problem, though, because we had Pixar Misfire with Elio, which was a new thing, and it was done by diverse people featuring a diverse whatever, and it didn't do very well, even though you said the movie was actually good.
I'm not sold on, was it Hoppers next year too? Hopper, whatever. I'm not sold on that one at all. Actually, Elio was more sold on than that one.
Girl turns into a beaver or switches her brain
with a beaver. Yes.
She's got a beaver brain. That sounds bad. But,
so she's got two beavers.
But they said they have a 10-year slate. It takes so long to make the movies.
I hope their slate gets better.
Oh God. I love to graph. I love to chart. I love to calendar. When people come and bring me data, they apologize. He devours it. I feed off this data. It's delicious to me.
Ew.
So he's kind of a bean counter. Yeah, so really there's very little in here.
He writes about people with beans. It's amazing.
He says our movies have to be giant movies. He said part of his job is he hears nuggets of an idea, and then they're like, can we turn it into a giant movie? They have to be giant movies. That's the kind of movies I love. I want to go and eat a giant bucket of popcorn and be entertained. I want to go through all the emotions. I want to feel a deep connection. I want to cry. I want to laugh. I want to be excited. Notice he's not saying like, I want everybody to see themselves in this movie and be represented.
Well, there's no way you can. But I do think that if you find people who have real lived in experience, that it can resonate with more people. Like, a lot of people can relate to similar things. It doesn't mean you have to be the same, from the same country, from the same, same color, same whatever, same gender. There's different things, aspects and stories in life that everyone can relate to in some way. They've had experiences with it.
He says looking at the health of the studio moving forward and making sure that everyone at Disney Animation is on board for that ride. The health of the studio.
Well, it's not that healthy. You almost got shut down.
So this, I'm just saying, this feels like a very different attitude from what we saw a couple of years ago. And we're still going to see some stuff kind of come through the pipeline. But I mean, unfortunately, we're going to see a lot of sequels. But it does sound like they're going to try to take a chance on things. He actually says at some point, because I've seen articles on that he might want to do more 2D stuff.
Yeah, I think they should, because it's a dying art, and I think people are very excited about 2D and they want to see a return to 2D.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. I spoke too soon. To that end, we wondered, would you have greenlit Strange World?
Oh, shit.
He says, I think it's important that we just continue to tell different types of stories. He's trying very hard to navigate this.
The answer is no.
The answer is no. I will say that I think more than anything else, people love our movies the most when they focus on characters that people see themselves in or that they just want to spend time with. Translation. Not enough people saw themselves in Strange World or wanted to spend time with those characters.
I think the same thing with Elio. I think a lot of it's not a bad movie, but it's also, I mean, if you watch it, there's actually a lot of relatable things in it. But I think a lot of people just saw it and they're just like, I just don't feel connected to it. And I think that's connection is a big part of it. Because Coco had the family element and, different things like Inside Out, everybody deals with their emotions. And I think that you have to have connection to it and you have to have a mass appeal aspect. And I think with Strange World, and I would argue Elio as well, it's very niche on what audience would be interested in it.
Boy, he has
or give it a chance.
This journo is really trying to get him. Given tensions,
that's all they do now.
Given
assholes.
Given
tensions about J.K. Rowling. Sorry.
Probably. Given tensions with law enforcement officers across the country, it's an interesting time for the studio to release another Zootopia.
Oh, fuck off.
What was noticeable about the Zootopia 2 footage screened at Nancy was how quickly Nick and Judy go from being rookie detectives to being on the run from the police. They spend a minimal amount of time in uniform, and once they go on the run, other members of the police force are after them. They're the villains. The first movie used the world of Zootopia where different animals live together to tell an emotionally resonant story about prejudice, and it seemed like the sequel's positioned to comment even more on our society is going to be anti-police. He is, again, being very dodgy. He said the hallmark of Zootopia is having it feel current. I don't think they're going to be anti-police. It's just like, this is just kind of where they're going with the story, right? Because if they're just going around giving people parking tickets, that's not...
Okay, here's the thing, though. The police are acting because I'm assuming they think that they did something wrong, and they're running from the police getting to be caught. So I'm like, of course, police, even now, even if you didn't do something wrong, but they think you did something wrong, they're going to come after you. I mean, that's just duh.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, well, this is where it says about 2D, and I think this is awesome. They said one obvious way to push things forward, because they're trying to come up with different art styles, and they're like, do you ever feel pressure because other studios are experimenting with different styles, like Spider-Verse and whatever? So one obvious way to push things forward and pay homage to the legacy of Disney animation would be to incorporate traditional hand-drawn animation or make an entire movie out of it. And I forgot about that. The last animated 2D animated movie is actually Winnie the Pooh, and I kept forgetting that was released theatrically. I keep thinking Princess Frog, but it was Winnie the Pooh, which is actually pretty good. He revealed that he's coaxed Ron Clements, a key filmmaker who ushered in the Disney Renaissance with movies like The Little Mermaid and Aladdin, out of retirement to help mentor the newest generation of Disney animation artists.
That is true. That's something that they just did, and they announced that at this festival as well. And he's going to be in there mentoring people. So I saw that, I was like, so they are going to try to train them at least how to do 2D, which is exciting. So their way of moving forward is to go back to their roots, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, because that's one thing that Disney historically did better than anybody else, right? And
go find storytellers, know what the fuck they're doing, and bring them back to teach the new ones how to do it.
Well, the Mary Poppins sequel, they had fired all the 2D animators. Nobody knew how to do 2D animation, so they had to go bring these guys out of retirement to do the animated sequences for a movie that everybody forgot about already. Remember they made a Mary Poppins sequel? And
they used to have animators that could do both, or the animators that could do 2D everywhere, but they've all aged out.
Yeah.
Or, not people are learning it, or they've jumped other studios that are allowing them to do 2D. So their answer is, oh shit, how do we get the audience back? We need to go back to 2D, and we need to bring a storyteller back in that knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, so I don't know. It sounds to me like, my takeaway from this article isn't that they're doubling down on DEI. My takeaway from this article is they're trying to course correct. Whether or not they're able to pull it off, I don't know. I think a lot of what we're seeing now is just being kind of flushed out of the system, though.
I think, too, it was interesting the way he said it about diversity with, like real life experience.
Yeah.
So they want people to have actual stories that are going to resonate with people that actually have experiences and are not just writing out of their ass, which I think is so funny coming from him because, he's writing about women and Polynesian people all the time. But, maybe he grew up there. I don't know.
Well, I know that they have, in the case of Moana, they have like advisors or something. But
I know, but I'm just saying,
I mean, look,
a double standard.
I'm gonna be honest. I would like to see Disney course correct. I would like to see the next CEO of Disney go back to trying to turn Disney back into Disney, right? Like everybody thinks we're like a bunch of hardcore Disney haters. It's like, no, we're just massively disappointed and disgusted at the trajectory of the company over the last couple of years.
We're not mad. We're just disappointed in you.
We're just disappointed. But hopefully,
also mad, but mostly disappointed.
Yeah, it's just they keep making dumb decisions. But I think, look, and I talked about this the other day. We talked about 3D TVs and curved screen TVs and how they don't make them anymore. And it happened so quickly, right? They were like out in the market and everybody was buying 3D. Everybody was making, 3D Blu-ray and all this and the curved screen, all that. And then it just went poof because the consumer decided they didn't want it. Mm-hmm. And that's what's happening. The consumer is deciding they don't want this stuff. They're rejecting it. They rejected Strange World. And if the company is going to survive, they're going to have to make changes accordingly. And hopefully it's not too late. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.